What is educational technology? On the surface, one might jump to all the plug-in tools available in various educational settings: iPads, laptops, a Promethean board, digital video cameras, or perhaps the soft technologies, software, apps, learning management system. The field of educational technology and its definitions are complex because it is more than the things that plug in and the software that makes stuff happen. As we dug deeper into our understanding of definitions of educational technology, it became necessary to develop a framework to hold the various terms of the field. Our team has looked at this from various perspectives. Initially, we thought of using a systems model to explain our understanding, but some concepts just did not fit the framework. We thought of the domains as being like pillars of a building. This static definition did not hold true. Finally, we came to the idea of the wheel. Each spoke on a wheel is integral to the operation of the whole. The hub of our wheel is facilitating learning and improving performance. Robinson, Melenda, and Resback, 2008, state that the term facilitating learning is posited as the purpose of the field, not as the result of the processes that are the raison d'etre of the field. Whether in the classroom or in the training room, the reasons for what we do rest in the desire to improve learners' understanding of content, skills, and concepts.
The spokes represent the domains into which we categorized the working parts of the definition of educational technology. We have found that the wheel kept turning as we tried to define one domain or category, only to discover the interrelatedness of the components. Just like you can't deconstruct a key lime pie to access all the original ingredients, we found that we couldn't compartmentalize the various terms within the definition of educational technology. The flow and ebb of the various elements are blended, each concept circling back and connecting to the others, creating new questions and deeper understandings. Facilitating learning and improving performance is at the center of our wheel, so we will begin there. What is learning?
Learning is indeed complex. Jonasson et al., 2003, proposed that meaningful learning is active, intentional, constructive, cooperative, and authentic. So how do we influence the process? What knowledge and skills do educational technologies employ to facilitate learning and improve performance? One way educational technologies can ensure they are facilitating learning is to have a strong foundation in learning theories provided through the field of educational psychology. The predominant theories are behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism. Each brings a strength to different parts of the learning continuum. Behaviorist theory centers around the concept of stimulus and response. A teacher provides proper environment and learning cues, and the goal is for the students to produce the desired response, thus improving performance. According to Ertmer and Newby, 2013, behaviorism was used as the basis for designing many of the early audiovisual materials that gave rise to many related teaching strategies, such as Skinner's teaching machines and program text, page 49. Cognitive theory focuses on structuring learning for transfer. It includes advanced organizers and a focus on how the learner processes new information. Cognitive theories emphasize making knowledge meaningful and helping learners organize and relate new information to existing knowledge in memory. Ertmer and Newby, 2013, page 53. Constructivist theory places emphasis on what the learner brings to the educational setting. That is, how do learners construct meaning out of problems and how learners collaborate with others to build new knowledge.
Design, develop, create all evoke images of an omniscient creator with technological resources at his disposal. Before anything can be created or designed or developed, resources must exist. You have to have something from which to fashion or create. Taking a backward construction approach, begin with the end and move to the beginning. The end product should be an appropriate tool to improve learning, enhance discovery, research, and provide necessary evaluation in a formative and summative manner. Designing educational technology should come from the mindset of improving student-learner outcomes with appropriate resources suitable to the ability level of the student learner. This is critical for students in special education. Once the instructor has set the goal or objective for the student learner, selecting the appropriate resources to enhance the learning experience are developed. The effective development should consider what resources are available and what resources the instructor and student learner are familiar with.
While design and development are traditionally viewed as separate domains of the field, we chose to group them together. The most elegant designs of an architect are mere art without builders. These two domains work closely together. The designer must resolve build issues, and the developer must resolve design issues.
One popular instructional systems design is the ADDIE model, which is learner-centered. The ADDIE model utilizes analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. As a flexible guideline, it provides teachers or facilitators with a thorough template for purposeful and productive instruction. A good template to begin with, the ADDIE model allows designers to focus on the conception and execution of the development for authentic resources. Kohler and Mishra pose the question, what happens when teachers design educational technology? Think about it in these terms. Having a bicycle is not the same as knowing how to ride it. Having devices does not equal applied education or learning. Having teachers who know how to use that technology will enhance learning. But the real design element becomes, is it student-driven? And it must be authentic and deal with real-world issues that students will encounter. Student-driven, subject matter-driven, but not technology-driven. This is what design is all about. Acquisition does not equal application with regards to technological devices for both student and teacher facilitator. Resources can encompass a wide range of thought, from natural resources or political resources, but we will turn our attention to technological resources that are used for educational purposes in our broad definition. There is a hierarchy in terms of tools being used to create materials, which are then accessed by devices. Within our box of technological tools, we have two divisions of media, analog and digital. Analog media is defined by Beatrice as something that resembles something else. We have visual instructional resources and audiovisual instructional resources. The other field is digital resources. These Beatrice defines as stored and transmitted by means of digital codes. They have no resemblance to the original image or sound. In addition, we have other resources, human resources, such as educational technologists, media specialists, support staff, subject matter experts, or SMEs. We have monetary resources, grants, school budgets, donors choose, GoFundMe accounts. Setting resources, both internal, such as a classroom, or external, such as museums or zoos. Community resources are libraries, hospitals, police stations, fire departments, field trips, virtual field trips, and REAL, REAL, rich environments for active learning. We also have ethical resources. Appropriate resources indicate that educational resources should be filtered for their suitability and compatibility with educational goals, a process that meets professional standards. The AECT Code of Ethics provides many guidelines to professional expectations, primarily obeying the law. AECT members are required to follow copyright laws and other legal protections of intellectual property rights. Also, they're to follow sound professional procedures for evaluation and selection of materials and equipment. Another ethical resource is avoiding content that promotes gender, ethnic, racial, or religious stereotypes, and encouraging the use of media that emphasize the diversity of our society as a multicultural community. Cotter states that effective management is an essential ingredient to getting the job done, regardless of what that job might entail. That seems to best summarize the definition of management. From 2000 to 2012, there was a 78% increase in higher education institutions reporting the use of learning management systems. Clearly, LMS's management systems are critical components of today's educational technology integration. Managing technology entails ethics and utilization to match the need and ability of the student with the appropriate technology for the desired outcome. Prescribing the proper tools and equipment by need and ability is often connected to availability, which can be cost prohibitive in some districts. Having clear expectations of how and when the devices are to be used, being available and proactive in monitoring usage, and giving students adequate time to explore through experimentation are good management approaches, according to Jeff Herb. Education technology managers must assist the needs to support teachers in the classroom. That management is sometimes designated to an educational technologist, who, along with the teacher, decide how much management is required. Management is mostly about control. Planning, coordinating, organizing, and supervising of project management, resource management, delivery system management, and information management. According to Seals and Ritchie, managers are leaders who motivate, direct, coach, support, monitor, delegate, and communicate with their colleagues. Donaldson and others state that it's hard to imagine great management with great leadership. They refer to educational technologists as change agents, as they must have the ability to lead effectively, to direct, to align, to inspire. In other words, to get the job done. Melinda states that educational technology fulfills its mandate when learners actually use instructional materials and systems and thereby benefit from the analysis and design work that has preceded the use. He continues stating, using educational technology is bringing learners into contact with appropriate learning conditions and resources. Teachers should definitely evaluate the appropriateness and value of resources and how their implementation can enhance their project or program. This is also good management. They overlap. We see the spokes of our wheel continue to parallel functions. The first step in utilization is selecting the specific materials, which may be looking at what is already available. Different criteria must be given priority in different circumstances. Keeping in mind these questions, what are my students' needs? What is the goal? What will get me there? Teachers, educational technologists need to pinpoint their learners and the lesson objectives. The International Standards Organization defines usability as the extent to which a product can be used by specific users to achieve specified goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specified context of user. How a resource is used can be affected by how accessible or available it is. Primarily, the educational technologist is the one who begins to shift control from the teacher to the learner. Instead of learning from media, they are learning with media. Beatrice states that educational specialists are often primarily responsible for addressing the ethical considerations that arise when using and managing resources. Next, we must look at the idea of ethical practice. What does it mean to practice educational technology ethically? Ethics is both sides of a coin, meant for teachers and students. Both teachers and students are expected to adhere to the respect of the intellectual property issues in regards to fair use guidelines for copyrighted material. This is easy to do if you properly cite other people's material. Another ethical issue concerns privacy and confidentiality with integrity of use. Teachers are advised to always monitor students working on the computer and to balance their safety with their privacy rights. Security measures with regards to password-protected accounts should be respected, including teachers' files and resources on the district networks. It is the duty of the teacher or other educational technologist to report violations and other breaches in security to the proper personnel, according to Berkeley. Proper network etiquette or netiquette is a necessary skill for all people. Cyber ethics should be taught alongside other standardized manners in the classroom.
Branch and Diesler, 2008, make 3 assumptions to inform the study and practice of technological processes. Number 1, education is a process. Number 2, technology can facilitate educational processes. And number 3, intentional learning environments are complex. These statements truly bring us to the outer circle of our wheel. Research, evaluation, study, and practice are all integral processes that move our field forward. The knowledge gained from each spoke cannot stand alone. Each one informs the other. As each new technology, theory, or research finding is developed, the processes begin again. All this with the goal of facilitating learning and improving performance.